Good afternoon, my lovely, esteemed ladies and gentlemen. We're working with the fours today. So we're coming at you, 4-T, transmitting, casting out and receiving the century, pursuit, truth, and it's the golden truth. Only push out will flow out nothing but the golden truth. And I want to wake everyone up to what's going on. And so I said, just that little bit of spark keeps growing and growing and growing, and let there be light. Let there be light. And once you get that light, and then the golden light, and everyone's woken up, and I'm still working on it. I'm still working on how to wake everyone up. But the more and more of you guys get out there and spread the word is the word, and someone comes up and starts, well, speaking about myself, you say, Todd is telling the golden truth. And who Todd is. And this will keep on enlightening the populace and the masses. And if you all start supporting, helping and assisting each and every one, and myself as I do to you guys, the word will get out there and the word will spread like wildfire. As I said, I don't lose any of my hope or faith in you guys because you just didn't know. And if you don't know, it is not your fault. But once watching your solar, Jaguar, Emperor, through the solar white wizard, intent, pulse, receptivity, and enchant, it's the greatest mass awakening. Unstoppable, inevitable, irreversible, and unavoidable. And don't worry about those people out there that don't agree with you. Just walk away until such time it dawns on them. And it eventually will. They'll eventually wake up. Don't be annoyed with it. Don't get cranky with it. You just remain stable and embracing, center, balance, and ground yourselves. Because when they all come to their realizations, you'll have mobilization, stabilization, which is inspiration, and aligns with everything the universe gives us. Gifts. And the Most High. The Most High. All right, I'm going to start off with another. This is all, as I say, Scorpion. I keep working in different avenues and try everything that I possibly can, because it's all about death and rebirth, until all the masses are awakened to the golden truth. And this is what a Scorpio does. Very, very strong and loyal, very loyal to his people. Okay, so, yes, we're talking about the fours. The time is 4:44 and 44 seconds. And it's the 4th of the 5th, 2026. So 4 seconds PM, afternoon. And transmitting out from Australia. Well, it's a great southern land. Okay, now the Great Deception. Our language was used to lock us down. And now the mystery of the word subject. Most people today believe they are free citizens, but the legal system still treats you as a subject. This word comes from the Latin subiectus, S-U-B-I-E-C-T-U-S, which literally means to be thrown under. And we all say, oh, thrown under the bus. That's what subject means. It literally means to be thrown under. Historically, it meant you were under the power of a sovereign. That word, sovereign, comes from the Latin superaneus, and the meaning the one who is over others, and means chief. Chief, like the Pendragon. Chief. As I said, these words have all been distorted and taken out of context, and the populace has been brainwashed and manipulated for 700 years. They've had time to re-educate each generation, and each generation gets dumbed down, well, worse than the generation before you, through your education. The curriculum they put out there take away your critical thinking, and they've taken away these words you learn at school. But you'll catch on as I progress your teachings for today and your learning skills. Hopefully you've still got your learning capabilities. Okay, so sovereign comes from the Latin superaneus, meaning the one who is over others. By using these words, the ruling order. Now, the ruling order we've got at the moment is the wealthy new order. Now, you've heard of the new order. Now put wealthy in front of it. Established a reality where you were legally thrown under them from birth. The theft of the name, the Duke and me surname, Dushaw was the surname, and they created Duke out of the surname, J-U-C, D-U-C, and D-U-X, which is natural born leader. So, because we're a family of great respect and integrity, ancient, well, they stole it from our family. Now, in 1337, the Plantagenet for dynasty performed a massive linguistic theft. The word duke used to be a common military term for a leader, dux, or even a surname for families like the House of Dushaw, because we were great leaders and administrators, and J, capital J for justice. But the king captured this word, making it the exclusive order title. They took a word that belonged to the people and walled it off to create a rigid hereditary or hierarchy. This is why many illustrious names like Dushaw were eventually simplified to names like Dushaw. Yeah, have to go and hide. The common people lost their connection to the ancient meanings of their own names, while the wealthy new order turned those meanings into tools of power. The original fake news, the Habsburgs forgeries. The most successful lie in history was the Habsburg forgeries. In the 1300s, the Habsburg dynasty wanted to be the ultimate power, so they fabricated ancient documents claiming they were descendants of Julius Caesar. Even though the documents were fake, they were confirmed as law once the family took the throne. This proved a dangerous truth, very dangerous. If the wealthy new order control the official record, they can create any reality they want, and they have. This infection still exists today. Governments use legal fictions to place themselves above the law, the natural law of nature. You've got to be connected, celestial and terrestrial, through your bodies, the human being. The being side connects with everything. And that's why you have, well, peace and harmony. Everything's harmonised through your king or emperor. From natural law to the legal person, originally there was natural law, the ancient belief that rights are inherited to you by nature and reason. But the wealthy replaced this with common law and positive law. They created a professional class of lawyers, bad lawyers, to act as middlemen. This shifted power away from what is just to what is on the record. The crown stopped being a person and became an invisible, immortal corporation. In the French Revolution, they killed the king, but they didn't kill the power. They just moved the sovereign authority into a cold administrative machine. The present reality, wealth without blood. For centuries, power was about bloodlines. Families like the House of Dushaw had their ancestry guarded in religious vaults to prove their status. And it's still proven today. What do you think we can trace my family back generations? There's a reason for that, isn't there? Of course there is. But today the wealthy New Order have detached power from the bloodlines and tethered it to wealth, their wealth. Wealth now controls everything without needing a name or a face. The modern wealthy New Order operate as a global super-anus sovereign that sits above all nations. They don't need a forgery claiming they are related to Caesar because they control the wealth now. Digital ledgers and the debt. The present generation is lost, and I might add the banking system. They control the banking system to keep using debt. They don't need a forgery claiming they are related to Caesar because they control the wealth. Digital ledgers and the debt and banks. The present generation has lost the reality of what those words mean. We use words like citizen while still living under the laws of subjects. We have been thrown under a system of wealth that has no soul, no blood, and no responsibility to the people. Now, the conclusion, we are living in the final stage of the Habsburgs' infection. The forgery is no longer a document. It is the modern belief that we are free, while the words we use, crown, royal, sovereign, subject, prove we are still operating in a system designed by fake medieval king's forgery to ensure that power always stays at the top and this wealthy new order. Now, I'll use the terminology. You should all know this terminology. Red flags all around us. Red flag, red flag, red flag, red flag. As above, so below. From the perspective of the state and the wealthy new order, this information is a massive red flag. It exposes the operating system they have used since the Bookend and Habsburg eras to keep the masses in a state of being, thrown under, subicutus. To a wealthy new order, a population that understands the literal meaning of these words is a population can no longer be easily managed through legal fictions or their wealth. From the perspective of the individual, the red flags are found in the history itself. The forgery red flag. The fact that the Habsburgs successfully used a forged document to claim they were archdukes and descendants of Julius Caesar proves that the foundation of modern government is built on manufactured truth. If they expose the origin of the words, the current authority is a house of cards. The logistic red flag. The word sovereign, super-anus, literally tells you someone is above you. The word subject, subicutus, literally tells you that you are thrown under them. The red flag is that we use these words every day while pretending we are equal. The corporate red flag, the shift from a human monarch to a bloodless corporation soul, the crown, means the state has the rights of a person, but none of the moral or spiritual responsibilities. This allows wealth to control society without any accountability to natural law. The ultimate red flag, the fact that this history from the House of Dushaw's the monastery kept the records, which is good today that we can rewind history and the golden truth and bring it into the now and present. And the Tudor legal reforms is not taught in schools is the biggest warning sign of all. It suggests that the present generations have been intentionally disconnected from the true meaning of words to ensure they remain subjects of a system they don't understand. Controlled by the wealthy new order, the removal of Latin and natural law from the education of the masses was the final step in solidifying the legal cage. By stripping away the ability to decode the language of the old heritage, the state ensured that the present generations will remain blind to the red flags built into their own laws. And the timeline of the great blinding, and this is why when they have those satanic surrealism evil rituals, which you'll see, and you can see on the internet now, they put a cage over their heads, and that is why you're in a cage. And that's their evil rituals, trying to keep their evil power. This wasn't a sudden change of the strategic shift that gave momentum in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. It's pretty recently. The mid-19th century, the Prussian model. Reformers like Horace Mann in the US and the counterparts in the UK adopted aspects of the Prussian education system, which is here. I've highlighted in blue. I'll do what I do all the time, same. I'll show you guys after I read you your lesson for today. Its primary purpose was not to create critical thinkers, but to produce obedient subjects, workers and soldiers who would follow orders without questioning the underlying legal structures. 1917 to 1946, the final purge. It's the final purge. You must be resonating now. The study of Latin etymology, the origin and deeper meaning of words, was largely dropped from public schools around 1946. This was the exact moment the masses lost the key to decoding terms like subicutus and super anus. 1960, the university shift. Institutions like Oxford and Cambridge ceased to require Latin as an entrance requirement. This effectively signaled that the ancient heritage language was no longer necessary for the management class, as the system was now fully automated by lawyers and bureaucratic positive law. It's bad, but we're in the now and present. Okay, the utilitarian shift, training versus education. The education of the House of Dushaw, ancient era, focused on the liberal arts, grammar, logic, and rhetoric, which taught students how to think, critical thinking. As industrialisation took hold, this was replaced by utilitarian education. Vocational focus, schools shifted toward teaching useful skills for the workforce. While this made people productive, it also made them intellectually dependent on the state in the hands of the wealthy new order that controlled the money through their banking system, extracting the wealth from the populace. The erasure of natural law. Natural law, the idea that you have inherent rights by virtue of being a living soul, was replaced by legal realism and positive law. This taught the masses that rights are just things granted by the government, much like the Habsburgs claimed to grant privileges through their forged documents. The red flag, why it matters now. The removal of these subjects is a red flag because it creates linguistic illiteracy. When you don't know that subject means to be thrown under, you can't see that your social contract is actually a corporate deed. The masses were given literacy so they could read in the state's rules, but they were denied etymology, so they could never understand the spirit of those rules and the origin of those words. The word is the word, spread the word. Speech creates speech. By losing the true meaning of words, the present generations have been disconnected from the reality that families like the House of Jewshaw once understood. And still understood, because we're no longer dormant and we're no longer extinct, because I exist now and present. The remedy begins with reclaiming these lost knowledge. When you understand the history of the Habsburgs' forgeries and the captures of the Duke's title, you start to see that the modern state isn't a protector. It's a corporation used a forged past to manage a subject populace. Proactive follow-up, should we look at how natural law is still hidden within the preambles of modern constitutions, waiting for a population that knows how to read them. Natural law was never truly destroyed, it was simply archived by the wealthy. Even as Hanoverians and Bourbon systems built their legal cages, they had to leave a backdoor open to justify their own existence. This backdoor is found in the preambles of modern constitutions, which often act as the final resting place for the ancient truths the masses have forgotten. The hidden language of preambles. In almost every founding document, there is a reference to a power that exists before the government. The US Declaration of Independence firmly cites the laws of nature and nature's God. The laws of nature and the nature's God. Light, let there be light. This is a direct reference to natural law. It acknowledges that your rights aren't granted by a sovereign superaneous. They are inherited in your existence as a living being, your being side. The red flag is that while the preambles admit the truth, the positive law, the thousands of pages that follow, is designed to trick you into acting like a subject, subiquitous. The constitutional backdoor. Modern constitutions often include a saving clause or reservation of rights. For example, the Ninth Amendment of the US Bill of Rights states that the list of rights in the Constitution is not exhaustive, that the people retain other rights. This is the remedy hidden in plain sight. It acknowledges that the living soul is the source of power and the government is merely a temporary corporation soul the Crown meant to serve. Because the school system purged the study of these concepts, most people read these words and see only empty spirituality, rather than a hard-coded legal escape hatch. The final forgery, the person versus the being. The ultimate trick used to bypass the natural law in these preambles is the creation of the legal person, the being. This is the descendant of lineages like the House of Jewshaw, a living, breathing man or woman under natural law. The person, this is the forgery. It is a corporate entity created by the state, often represented by your name on government IDs, identification cards. When you enter a court or sign a form, the lawyer and the state aren't talking to you. They are talking to the person they created. By identifying as that person, you voluntarily climb back into the legal cage and accept the status of a subject. The Habsburg infection succeeded by convincing the present generations that they are their paperwork. The House of Jewshaw records are kept in monasteries because their ancestry is considered sacred and beyond the reach of common politics. By relearning the origins of crown, royal, sovereign and subject, you are effectively raiding the archive to reclaim your own sacred standing. You are not a subject of the wealth-based order. I am a living being whose rights are older than the Habsburgs, the Plantagenets, and the very concept of the state known as the wealthy new order. We must realise that the history of the House of Dushaw, the Habsburgs' forgeries and the theft of the title of Duke are not just stories of the past. They are the blueprints of our present. The legal cage was built by turning the language of the people into a weapon of the order. As we know, they weaponise everything. By redefining sovereign as the one over, the subject as the one thrown under, the masters of the wealthy new order created a world where they are legally bound to a system you were never meant to understand. The ultimate red flag is that the present generations have been stripped of the tools to see this reality. When the study of natural law and entomology was removed from your schools, the key to your own archives was taken. You were left with positive law, a world of corporate persons and faceless wealth that operates without a soul or a bloodline. I am not the paperwork the state created for us. I am a living being whose rights are more ancient than any Hanoverian decree or Plantagenet statute. By reclaiming the true meaning of words, you stop being a subject and start being the author of your own existence. The Habsburg infection only works as long as the lie is believed. Once you see the forgery, the power of the fake record dissolves and you are free to stand once again on the firm, unshakable ground of natural law. Should we now look at how to verbally assert that this natural law, stand if you are ever challenged by the legal person systems of the state? In Australia, the legal cage was finalised through a process of constitutional evolution rather than revolution, culminating in the Australian Act 1986. Pretty recent again. 86, 96, what's that, 40 years ago, is it? This Act the Act officially severed the last legal ties to the United Kingdom, transitioning the nation into a full legal sovereignty. For the masses, this was presented as independence, but legally it was the moment the Hanoverian and Plantagenet frameworks were fully downloaded into a purely Australian administrative machine, and the forgeries of Habsburgs. The Australian Legal Cage and the Australian Act 1986. The final step, on 3rd of March 1986, the Australian Act came into effect simultaneously in Australia and the UK. Its purpose was to conform constitutional arrangements to the status of the Commonwealth as a sovereign, independent and federal nation. The shift of the sovereign, while the physical monarch remained, the legal crown was redefined. Appeals to the British Privy Council were ended, making the High Court of Australia the final gatekeeper of law. This effectively moved the superaneous, the one who is over and chief, from London to Canberra, but the subject status of the people remained unchanged. The corporate transformation, Australia's status as a Crown Republic means the Crown acts as a legal embodiment of authority or a corporation soul that never dies. This ensures that the state's power is immortal even as governments change. The preamble secret, the Australian Constitution begins with the phrase, humbly relying on the blessing of Almighty God, and He will strike. This is the natural law backdoor. It acknowledges a higher moral authority that exists before the state. The rise of positivism. Despite this, Australian courts promptly operate under legal positivism, where laws are valid because they were passed by the sovereign parliament, not necessarily because they are just. The present generations had taught that their rights come from the Australian Act or the Constitution, when natural law states those rights are inherent to their being. Spirit. The person trap. In Australia, like elsewhere, the state deals with you as a legal person. The rule of law education centre notes that sovereign citizens often attempt to reject this by calling themselves flesh and blood, but the courts consistently rule that the positive law of the Crown overrides individual claims of absolute autonomy. The Australian Act 1986 was the moment the cage became entirely Australian-made. You were told it was about independence from Britain, but its deeper purpose was to ensure the sovereign power, the super-anus, could continue to operate over you without any external oversight. The remedy is not found in sovereign citizen arguments that the courts have already forged answers against. It is found in reclaiming the natural law truth that I am a living being whose rights are older than the Federation itself. And my living being goes back 4,000 years. Reason for that, meaning and purpose. It's not a coincidence, it becomes an incidence. The greatest mass awakening, unstoppable, the steeple. Unstoppable, inevitable, irreversible, and unavoidable. Awakeys are. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Beautiful people's populace, lovelies. Okay, so being a sovereign citizen, arguments that the courts have already forged answers against, it is found in reclaiming the natural law truth that I am a living being whose rights are older than the Federation itself. By heaps. When I read the Australian Act, I don't just see a law of independence, I see the final signature on the contract that made me and you a subject to a local immortal administrative crown. The perception of tyranny or totalization, totalitarian. Control in modern Australia often stems from the tension between the living being and the administrative state. Historically, tyranny was an absolute rule by a single person who operated outside the law, while the totalitarianism is a modern system where the state recognises no limits and seeks to control every aspect of public and private life. In the Australian context, this control is not exercised through a single dictator, but through a highly complex bureaucratic crown, the corporation soul that never dies. The totalitarian, full of modern governance in Australia can be traced through several legal and linguistic shifts. The disappearance of the individual under natural law, the focus is on the living being with inherent rights. However, the Australian legal system operates primarily through legal positivism, where the state as the sovereign has the plenary, plenary, authority to make and unmake any law whatsoever. This allows the state to manage the population as a collective rather than as individuals with separate, unalienable rights. The popular sovereignty barrage. While cases like Roe versus Electoral Commission 2010 acknowledge that ultimate sovereignty resides in the Australian people, the High Court has clarified this is a collective sovereignty, not an individual one. This means you have the power to vote for a representative once every few years, but as an individual, you will remain a subject, legally thrown under the laws created by those representatives. The Australian Act 1986 removed the last external checks on power, essentially localising the super-anus, the one who is over in Canberra. To the present generations, this can look like tyranny. because of the administrative state now manages everything from your right to travel to your health choices, often justified by the national interest. The red flag is the erasure of the right to vote in the written text of Australian Constitution. There is no express right to vote in Section 41. It is merely an implied right discovered by the High Court over time. This highlights the Habsburg-style infection when rights are implied or granted by the state rather than recognised as inherent natural law. They can be restricted or redefined by the state at any time. The Australian Act 1986 finalised the legal case by legalising the superaneous, the one who is over in Canberra, while marketed as independence. It actually downloaded ancient Hanoverian and Plantagenet Habsburg's frameworks into an immortal administrative crown. This turned the state into a corporation soul with plenary authority to make or unmake any law, treating people as a manageable collective rather than individuals with inherent rights. A major red flag is the removal of natural law and etymology, the origin of the words, from schools, leaving the present generations unable to see their legally subjects. Thrown under a system of positive law in Australia, even the right to vote is not explicitly written in the Constitution, but is merely implied right. The remedy is the truth. You are not the paperwork created for you. Your rights are more ancient than any statute, evidenced by the Constitution's preamble, which humbly relies on the blessing of Almighty God, a backdoor, acknowledging power that exists before the state. And then by reclaiming the true meaning of words, the Habsburg forgery dissolves, allowing you to stop being a subject and stand on the firm ground of natural law as a living being. Now, just go with everything at the moment, because if you're going to say you're a sovereign citizen, they'll either lock you up, and that insinue that law, that stupid law they made up, and they'll send you to medical evaluations and so forth, and just say you're locos. And this is how they deal with our reality and our realm. So I just sit before you as a solid Jaguar Emperor, because my lineage, the blood lineage of the Regency, predates any of this. It's really shenanigans. I just see a lot of porkies and bull dust in front of you. But just let the natural flow take its course, because it's going to right itself. It will right itself. And once the populace become more aware on who I am truly are, and letting all this golden truth flow out to you guys to embrace and become aware of and acknowledge, well, numbers speak the words, don't they? Okay, so we're going into a card reading now after that reading, the lessons of the day, today's teachings of the golden truth. As I said, I just put the golden truth out there. I am out to take nothing by force, or I just obey all the laws that are there now, even though they're fake and they're lies. Just go with it until nature will correct itself. And I am part of nature. So we'll just let it all naturally flow out and correct itself. And through the Most High. We're all connected to the universe and the Most High. And that's your spirituality. And this is your spirituality that these creatures, demons and monsters have taken from you guys. But they're in those lower frequencies, remember? We're in the higher frequencies where they can't touch you or feed off you. Let's go with the Fairies Oracle cards. Because we have laughter, because laughter. Of course we got laughter, because it's naturally all going to right itself. And why? Because it's the greatest mass awakening, unstoppable, inevitable, irreversible, and unavoidable. Abracadabra, awake, awake, awake. Intent, pulse, receptivity, and enchant the masses. Number 9, tone 9. Yes, yes indeed. And as I said, I'm still working on awakening everybody, everyone and everything out there. And resonating, all about resonating with each other. And in harmony. And go on, well, bringing the past up to the future. Learn from the past and reprogram the now and present, which I am doing through my programs. Transmitting, casting out, and also receiving, opening up all your chakras and transmitting and receiving through your chakras. Divinity and the divine right, divine flow of nature. It's writing itself as we speak. Speech creates speech. And align oneself up with all that energy. Magic of nature. Going to read these cards. Okay, laughter. You just need laughter at this point in the matter of the presence. Okay, so we're looking for laughter. Laughter. Every cloud not only has a silver lining, beautiful, but it also has a humorous side. Try to objectively stand back from your situations and find a humorous twist. Laughter will help you see your life from a new perspective so that you can receive creative insights and solutions. You are much too serious about life according to the fairies. They aren't asking you to neglect your responsibilities, let go of the sacred reverence for life, or defend your emotions with jokes. Instead, you're asked to see the humour that runs through the thread of life. Like a brilliant comedy, our lives become more enjoyable when you can see them through the eyes of a humorist. Laughter helps us to stand back and see ourselves and our situations more objectively. When we laugh, we relax. And when we relax, creative solutions and renewed energy course through us more easily. Ain't that the truth? So take time today to laugh, for instance. Go see that new funny movie or play, buy a book by your favourite comedy writer, or exchange silly jokes with a friend. Affirmation, I find the humour in life and I laugh easily. Okie so that's laughter. Leave him there. And now, the magic of nature. We're just talking about nature. Magic of nature. Beautiful card. Synchronicities, symbols and signs. Time for reflection. Because it's time for success. And victory, because we are conquerors. We are conquerors. Magic of nature. Spend time outdoors among the flowers, plants and trees. Nature has powerful gifts and she wants to share it with you, including ideas, information and healing energy. All about healing too. When you are disconnected from Mother Earth, this is what happens. You may feel depressed or lethargic without knowing why. Earth too feels distraught when you don't connect with her on a regular basis. This is what I'm saying. Connect with everything. I am connected. Celestial and terrestrial. And with all the forces, energy forces, archangels, angels. and all the beings at play, and the Most High, and Jesus Christ, Holy Spirit, Holy Ghost. Doesn't matter which one you use, same, and same purpose and meaning, and function, and mission. Okay, she needs you to be amidst her beauty so that she can telegraph information to you. In this way, you'll know best how to care for your planet Earth as we know it. And that's what I was going to say, yeah. Come to the realization and mobilization and civilization Earthalization? Is there a word? Or earthalism? By drawing this card, and in this way you'll know best how to care for your planet. By drawing this card, you're being urged to spend time daily, even as little as 5 minutes outside in nature. Remove your shoes, socks or nylons and connect your bare feet with the soil, which I last program in the archives. Close your eyes and take a few deep breaths as you're surrounded by the magical energy of nature. Mentally ask the fairies to help you with any issues you may have. This, open your eyes and look for their flickering light, which is the first sign that you're seeing the fairies that surround you. Affirmation: I love being outside in nature. I feel energized by the sunshine, fresh air, plants and animals. I take excellent care of every living being, including myself. Harmonizing on the correct higher frequencies and vibrations. Okay, quickly. We'll knock. 1, 2, 3. All the bad, evil energies are gone. Be gone. Behold, I hold the sword of Excalibur as the Pendragon Chief. So right in on the Knight of Cups. Any questions you'd like to ask? I'll give you a yes and no answer. And as the golden truth flows into my crown chakra, it's a gift to all you guys as it flows out through my heart chakra, the golden truth, and flows out with unconditional divine love, divine timing, and divine intervention. So I say, just let it all go with the flow. Just keep going with the flow, and keep talking and chatting to your fellow colleagues, and anyone them are doing bad, evil things, report them, and you become a whistleblower for the greater good of Australia and planet Earth and Mother Goddess Gaia. Keep everybody happy and in harmony with each other. Got to get rid of all these bad, evil ones first, doing those evil, satanic, surrealism rituals. Queen of Pentacles. Oh, wow. Ace of Pentacles. Wowza. Oh, wow. Hope you just enjoyed that reading and focus on it and put your thoughts there. And it's a process, as I say. Long process for the soul, Jaguar Emperor. But we got there. We got there in the now and present. As I said, it's not going to be a good ending for these creatures, monsters and demons Lucifer will drag him back down to hell through the fire and brimstone. And happy ending for all of us. And put all the systems back together again in goodness and the light. Okay, so we got the 5 there. That's a no at the moment. That's a no. Oh, look. Scorpio's card about transformation. I'll have to take it. I'll just draw another one, but I'll do the 6 cards today. 6. Remember? 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 444 and 44 seconds of greatness. The Queen. Heffernaut. Alright, what do we got? The moon. Geez, I have to draw one more card now. The 8. Remember? Full circles, and come to the 1. And the 11. And pull in all that energy from the Royal Star and Taris. Okay, so we got a yes on the Knight of Cups. Yes, Queen of Pentacles. Yes, Ace of Pentacles. It's a no with the 5 of Pentacles. It's also a no. It's good, but we can always have laughter, can't we? Because the magic of nature has a natural way of righting itself, and we're with nature. Okay, so it's a yes with the 8 of Pentacles. No. 4 yeses to 3 no's, so the answer is yes. Quickly do this one. Knight of Cups. Knight of Cups is 3rd Deacon Libra, Scorpion. 2nd Deacon Scorpion. Creativity, romantic charm, imagination, beauty, knight in shining armour, following the heart chakra, Prince Charming, and proposals. Put a lot of proposals to you guys, and I'm here to awake you and step into the light of golden truth. Queen of Pentacles, Sagittarius, Capricorn, nurturing, practical, providing, financially and working parent. Ah, look at this one. The Almighty, the Most High. Ace of Pentacles, Earth, pioneering, leading, alpha, dominance, ambitious, originality. They're the other 3 ace cards, I do believe, in those archives with the programs in the archives, because it's pioneering, isn't it? Abundance, manifestation, opportunity, new career or financial opportunity, new venture and prosperity. I think I was the king of prosperity. I still am. All that is inside my inner world, and what you see on the outer world and my now and present is the Solar Jaguar Emperor. All about transformation. Remember? The little Pluto planet, but plenty of punch. Life, death, rebirth, transformation, reformation, and restoration. Okay. So it's going to be a bit evil there for a while, but not too long, because the financial loss, which is going to get hit with this, the raising of the bank interest, the fuel shortage, crisis after crisis. This is what the evil creatures, monsters and demons do in our evil government. And it's not all, but some. I prefer prosperity over poverty. Don't know about you guys, but I would. Prosperity. Okay, it's all about diligence, passion, high standards, apprenticeship, mastery of everything. Alchemical force. Skill development, repetitive tasks. Intent, pulse, receptivity. And enchanting. My Scorpio card. We're in the process of transformation. In that transitional period or phase or stage of transformation. Because energy never stops. It transforms. And that is where we're at, in the now and present. And I'm in the right timeline. Otherwise, I wouldn't be sitting here now discussing all this golden truth with the populace, our lovelies, our children. It's all about endings and new beginnings, change, transformation, transition, metamorphosis, end of a cycle, because now we're in cycle 1. And reduces to 4. My 22 reduces to 4. Are you not seeing it now? Of course you are. Awake, awake, awake. The number 4 is about control and organisation. Unstoppable, inevitable, irreversible, unavoidable. What are those 4 words? What's the meaning and purpose? Because it's the greatest mass awakening. Pulse, intent, receptivity, and enchanting. Enchant. Okay, 18 is the moon. Okay, so if everyone's been reprogrammed, you should realise what 18 is now. And 1 and 8, 1 plus 8 is a 9. The moon, illusion, mystery, dreams, intuition, fear, anxiety, subconscious, premonitions. Number 18 reduces to 9. It is about completion and selflessness. Selflessness. Okay? Don't worry about all this materialism. That's a part of these critters, creatures, monsters and demons, laying out that temptation for you to go out and buy your little toys so you be happy for about a week, then you put the toy away, and then you get depressed again because you can't put fuel in the bloody toy. If it's a jet ski, ski boat, might even be a nice 4-wheel drive, nice new motorbike, new car, whatever it is, it's materialistic, and it only keeps you happy for a short period of time, and then this evilness, well, puts depression on you guys again. You've got to get in that higher frequencies. Don't worry about the devil's playground, the devil's lair, or the devil's don't ever sign the contract with the devil. It's just not bloody worth it. Stay on the righteous path, as I said. The journey is just about there, and I'm a high pilgrim. Elevation of the mind, elevation of everything. Okay, we go forward and we prosper with prosperity. And all this is now fully documented facts. It's all facts. As I said, stop living in a fictional world. Start living in a factual world. Okie dokie, my brothers and sisters. It's lovely talking to you as I push and let that flow of divine, unconditional love out to each and every one. Take care, stay safe. Name the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. Amen. 4-T, the Sanctuary, Pursuit, Truth, the Solar, Jaguar, Emperor. Bye for now.